Stuff, cool stuff. Round up, homies. Good afternoon. What up, round up, homies? Greetings. Hey, class, how you guys doing? Greetings to you. Greetings. Greetings. Sorry about that. I got that daggone thing making all that sound in your ear hole. Round up. I am Kris Haskins, and my ministry and mission is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. It is an honor that you let me serve. You let me serve. I'm telling you, I would be nothing without the viewers, without the people. The power is in the people. Today, we're going to be talking about subject to my favorite way to buy houses. And who better to hear from than an attorney that can tell you step by step how to do it? Bill Bronchick, what up, homie?
How's it going, man?
Good to see you again.
Pleasure. Is that your bedroom there we're looking at?
Dude, I'm at this hotel. Right?
I was going, why is he filming from his bedroom? It's a hotel. Okay, now that makes sense.
Dude, I could let you off later, but I got to show the roundup homies this bathroom and this bedroom and the view. It's crazy. I'm at a hotel called the Breakers.
Oh, I know the Breakers.
I mean, the minimum room is $1,100 a night. You know, I mean, it's just crazy. And then you walk in, it feels like I was in Paris many years ago. Felt in Palace of Versailles, and it's got that same feel.
Right. And of course, no matter how much you charge, they use the COVID excuse to not clean your room every day.
Well, let me tell you here, they cleaned in my room twice already.
Really? Wow.
I can't look at the beds made up.
All right. I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, well, we can only clean every 3 days because of COVID.
Oh, shit.
What kind of excuse is that?
Terrible. You should tell them, look, I'm a lawyer. I know my rights. You got to do that.
Right. Or then I love the green excuse. We can't wash your towels every day.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get for the Meanwhile, they're out there raping. Roundup, thank you. Ryan Young, thank you. One of our new members, Ryan Young. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, my friend, and allowing me to continue to make this content and introduce you to people that will raise your financial literacy and not try to rob you blind and not be fake and all that stuff. Ryan, thank you. Roundup, if you want to get your questions answered first, there's a little button right down there. It says join. What I wanted to do was give the busy professionals and entrepreneurs just a little something extra. Whenever we go live, we can do their questions first. So if you want to help support the Roundup channel, it's nothing but a large Starbucks coffee a month. That's all. Coffee. You spend that on whatever, right? I just spent $25 on a drink. So Roundup, today we're talking about subject to, and Bill is doing a workshop. Bill, first of all, how's the weather out there in Denver? It's like 90 degrees here in Florida.
It was 80 today.
Sweet.
Beautiful.
Kind of creeping on up then. So subject to, for the people that don't know you, Bill, tell me about a little bit of background, why we should listen to you about this crazy stuff, and tell me what we got coming up.
Well, first, I am an excellent guitar player. That's the main reason you should listen to me. I've been playing guitar since I was 7 years old. I play in 2 bands. I've played in 30 over my lifetime, and I'm pretty damn good.
Damn good.
So that's why you should listen to me, because of this topic. That's why you should hear me play.
Okay.
This topic, I've been a real estate attorney for 30 years. I've been a real estate investor for 28 years. I've written 6 books that have been published in the major booksellers on real estate investing. I own a title agency, and I have closed over 1,500 subject to deals for clients other than myself. And I've also done hundreds and hundreds of deals myself. I've owned everything from single families, condos, small apartments, large apartments, self-storage facility, mobile home parks.
Good Lord.
Trying to think if I forgot anything.
You're old.
Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, I just turned 56 last week, so I'm.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. So you have been around the block doing these subject to stuff.
Invested in 9 states in 3 different cycles, up, down, and sideways.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Bill, can you make money if the market is going up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, or sideways?
Absolutely. You can make money. Now, here's the thing. When the market's going up, every idiot makes money, right? What separates the wheat from the chaff is those who make money when the market is down, because that's the best time to buy, is when the market, when the blood is running in the streets, so to speak. And in 2009 and 10 and 11, I bought a bunch of properties that have tripled in value and doubled in rents. And I'm glad I did. And it was tough. I mean, I have to admit, it was tough. I was scraping together all the cash I had and extending myself, and a lot of negative cash flow some months, and a lot of vacancies, and, you know, properties were tough and financing was tough, really tough back then. But it was all worth it. So, you know, you got to learn how to have all the tools in the toolbox to make money when the market is up, down, sideways. And right now, I think there's going to be an incredible opportunity for subject twos over the next year or two, because all these COVID deferments, not forbearance, deferments are going to come due eventually. And then over the next 3 to 6 months, people can't pay, and they'll pay the piper. There'll be a rash of defaults, foreclosures, short sales, and a lot of opportunities to take property subject to and help out a homeowner avoid foreclosure.
Bill, before we get to your overall view on the market and where it's going, help a lot of my roundup viewers that may not understand subject to. I want you to hear from an attorney, because you could lose your license over this. If you know, I don't have a license at risk. So when I say subject to, you're an attorney and you have to do things right.
Right. Actually, there were 3 state bar ethics opinions that opined that advising a client to take a property subject to or sell subject to is not an unethical act of an attorney, because they're not advising a client to do anything that is illegal.
Sweet.
Exactly. So they said tough times sometimes for sellers call for tough measures, and advising a client to potentially do something that could trigger the lender calling a loan due, which is, you know, if in theory a breach of contract for the seller, not for you, for the buyer, but for the seller, is sometimes a necessary evil that a client must do, and an attorney advising them is not unethical. So if it's not unethical for an attorney, it's not illegal for an attorney, it's not unethical for a realtor, and certainly us investors who don't have a code of ethics, you know. No, we have the Bible and the 10 Commandments we follow. You know, we treat other people like you want to be treated. That's our code of ethics. And most investors are good people. You know, there's a few bad apples, but just like any profession. But we have a reputation sometimes amongst others as being, you know, a little shady because we don't have a governing body as real estate investors. Mm-hmm. But doing subject to deals, the bottom line is it's not illegal. It's not unethical. It's nothing that people haven't done or been doing for the last 60 years. If you take a property by having the seller deed it to you, taking ownership, typically at a closing, you pay off the seller's loan out of the proceeds of the sale. Well, we're not going to do that with a subject to. We're just going to take ownership and leave that mortgage in place and keep paying it for the seller. You know, it's his loan, but we're going to continue paying it. A lot of people don't understand that the mortgage and the ownership are two different things. If you transfer ownership, the lien, the mortgage lien stays with the property. So the lender still has collateral. It's just that the mortgage contains what's called an acceleration or due on sale clause, which says if the property is transferred and the buyer doesn't assume the loan, then the lender has the option to accelerate the balance and make you pay it off. Now, it's the lender's option to do so. It's not automatic. So due on sale is really not an accurate description of that clause. It's not due on sale. It's due on sale if the lender chooses to push the issue, and 99 times out of 100, the lender doesn't. Why? Because there's no profit in it for them. In 1979, interest rates in the market for residential were around 14%. If someone had a 4% mortgage, transferred ownership, the lender, of course, is going to push the issue because they're losing money at 4% when they can force you to pay it off and then relend that money at 14%. Interest rates have been fairly flat for the last 20 years, somewhere between, 3, 4, and 5. So if you took subject to ownership, subject to an existing mortgage of, let's say, 4.25%, and market rates now are about a point lower, what lender in their right mind would push the issue to make you pay off a 4% loan to refinance you at 3? So the odds are with you. Is it a risk? Of course it's a risk.
Risk in everything.
Full of risks. All businesses have risks. Is it a large one? In my opinion, not. Let's look at the alternative. Buy a property by putting 20% down and then borrow a 30-year mortgage at 80% loan to value. Now, that's safe from the do-on-sale perspective, but what if the property value goes down and the market crashes and you're upside down? You're stuck on there for the rest of the balance of the loan. With a subject to, it's not your loan. So if things go, upside down or the market goes sideways, you're not on the hook. It's not your loan. I'm not saying walk away from it and don't pay it. I'm not suggesting that. But, if the crap hits the fan, do you want to be on the hook or not?
Now, Bill, just so we can have a one bullet statement for my rounduppers that don't have a clear understanding of what subject to is, go ahead and give it to them in a one statement so we can kind of give them that bullet and then kind of go orbit around it a little bit.
It's buying a property by taking ownership without paying off the existing mortgage. That's subject to. So you're taking ownership subject to the mortgage lien that's on the property, as opposed to taking it free and clear, which is typical on a regular sale, which you turn around and borrow from a lender and put another lien on it. So when you take a deed, if you actually read a deed says the seller's giving ownership of the property to the buyer, subject to, and then it lists all the things that are excluded. So some of the things that are excluded, like property taxes. Property taxes are paid in the year before you in arrears. So if you close in the middle of the year, there are 6 months worth of taxes that have accrued that are a lien, but they're not yet due until the following spring. So it'll say this deed is subject to accrued but unpaid taxes, subject to zoning restrictions, subject to, if it's in a homeowners association, rules, subject to an easement on the back of the property for the utility company, subject to rights of way. And then you just add one more line, subject to a mortgage owned by Wells Fargo in the amount of X dollars recorded on this date at this book and page number with the county. So subject to, it means what you're taking the property with.
So what if it's a whole other bunch of liens and HOA fees and all that, Bill? What happens to all that stuff when you take over that first loan subject to also?
Well, you take subject to everything. You take subject to the HOA lien. You take subject to unpaid property taxes. You say subject
child support,
to whatever's on the property, taking subject to all of it. Now, you could pay some of those things at closing. You could take subject to a first and a second mortgage and an IRS lien and a judgment and a child support lien.
Good gracious.
I've taken property subject to 6 or 7 liens. And the nice thing about a subject to is you don't have to pay those all at closing like you normally would. You can negotiate them later, because if you plan on just renting out the property, those liens are just going to sit there until they get settled or you resell the property or refi the property.
I love it. Bill, how many times I'm just imagining how many times you've heard it. They say, well, you can't do that. There's XYZ lien on it, or you can't buy it because it's got the owes this.
Well, you take it subject to that lien.
Round up for those who are just joining us. We're with attorney Bill Bronchick tonight. He is going to be talking about buying houses subject to, and we've got a new member here. It's an honor to meet Who is this? Val Demetri, you are already a member. Thank you so much. I got to make sure I introduce our new members, Bill, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Aventuras de la Biblia. Thank you so much for becoming one of our members. Thank you. Thank you. Your questions will be answered first. Thank you. Thank you. Bill, you got this workshop coming up, and Roundup, you got to listen to the end. We're going to give you, I've already talked to Bill to give you some goodies. I don't even bring people on unless they're going to give the Roundup homie some love. Mm-hmm. So what was your goal in doing a workshop on subject to, and for people to say, well, I don't have money to buy it. Can you wholesale a subject to, or can you just pawn it off on somebody else? So people that don't want to actually take it down?
Yeah, I'm going to have a whole section in the workshop about back-end strategies. What do you do once you get it? Wholesale it, rent it, resell it, sell it on a lease option, wrap it. There's about 7 or 8 different options that you can do with it. So if you could put a property under contract for a cash deal under market, and then assign that contract to another investor who's going to fix it and flip it, right? Mm-hmm. You could do the same thing with a subject too. You can have an agreement with a seller that says, I'll sell it to you by you giving me $5,000 and taking subject to my existing mortgage. Mm-hmm. I don't have $5,000. Assign that contract to another investor, and they pay you $5,000, and then they pay the seller $5,000.
Sweet. Roundup, I want you to know, just because you don't have the money to take down the house, there are hybrids that orbit around the subject to strategy. Okay, so I don't want you to say, "Oh, I don't have the money," dude. I promise you, I didn't start. I don't know about Bill. Mm-hmm. I wasn't born rich, so Bill, I didn't have that luxury.
I wasn't born rich either. I had no clothes on, not even the shirt on my back. Actually, I was going to tell you one of the first deals I did when I moved to Colorado in 1993 was a subject to wholesale contract.
You bought it? Somebody sold it to you wholesale?
Yeah. Well, no, they went under contract with me where they agreed to let me take the loan subject to. It was 11% interest.
Good Lord.
So I didn't want it. And I found another person who was willing to give me $10,000 for my contract, and then they were going to close directly with the owner and then live in the property. So I put it under contract with the seller, assigned my purchase right to someone else, and at closing, they paid me $10,000 and took title to the property subject to the existing loan.
So they got the house and they got the financing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all hear that? You can sell. I want y'all to understand that. You sold the house and you sold the financing. You sold both of those to that end buyer. That is, I'm telling you, that's when you turn into the bank bill. Let me ask you, I'm telling you, well, I didn't blow up until my mentor was like, Kris, be the bank, be the bank. I never understood it. But my career really didn't take off until I turned into the bank.
Right. Good to be the bank. It's good to be the bank. Like what's his name? Mel Brooks said in that movie, remember? It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king. Round up with Bill Bronchick tonight. He's got a subject to workshop coming. I've just been trying to get on him for about a week now to bring him on to offer this to you. Bill, let's stay with subject to real quick. Then I want to tell the roundup homies what about your who is subject to for, Bill? I mean, who is this? Why would people want to be
subject to? Is my favorite strategy, and it is the more powerful way to buy real estate for a number of reasons. Number one, you don't have to qualify for a loan because you're not assuming it. Number two, you could take over someone's low interest rate financing better than you can get it as an investor. If you buy a property as an investor, 20% down minimum, and Fannie Mae, I don't know if you heard this, Fannie and Freddie just tightened up all their rules for investors. They're making you have 6 months to a year of reserves.
I heard.
And the interest rate is going to be a point higher than if you're going to live in the property. So if someone originated a loan as a homeowner and you take subject to, you're getting a lower interest rate than if you wanted to buy it yourself and put your own loan on it. Second, they may have paid it down 5 or 6 years. So you're not taking over a 30-year mortgage. You're taking over the balance, which might be 24 years.
Keep going, Bill. I got to check something here in the room. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if with a 30-year loan, most loans are front-loaded with interest, meaning the first 10 years or so are almost all interest in the payment and very little principal. If you take subject to a loan that's been paid down for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, you're starting to actually now pay down principal as you take over that loan. All right. Also, as the owner of the property, you have the same benefits that if you bought it a traditional way. You can deduct the mortgage interest you're paying, even though it's not your loan.
Yes.
You can deduct your property taxes.
Stay there for a minute. You telling me I can deduct the interest on a loan that's not even in my name?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, the rule is, the IRS rule is,
Almighty.
you have to own the property and make the payments. So the former owner is still going to get a 1098 statement from his lender. You have to tell him, don't deduct that because you can't, because you didn't pay the payments now. And on top of that, you don't own the property, so you don't have the right to take that deduction. So the seller would ignore that 1098, and then you, the buyer, can deduct that on your Schedule A as mortgage interest on your principal residence. Now, if it's a rental, if you buy it as a rental, then you can just deduct it as business interest against the property.
I got to tell you, Bill, I was audited. I had to go up against that one time with my IRS agent, and we won.
Yeah, you just have to explain to him. You know, a lot of them don't understand what you did, but once they understand, you own it and you made the payments, you have the right to deduct it.
Well, I had one other layer to overcome too, Bill. She goes, "Well, you don't own this. This is in a trust." I'm like, okay, so I had to show her my trust documents too, Bill.
Right. You have to show them. It's IRC 671 through 678 grantor trusts. It treats the beneficiary as the owner of the property.
So they were cool with it, Bill. You know, it's weird. You know, well, for me, I'm like, I've been studying this stuff, teaching this stuff. Does it really work? Then when you go up against the IRS and they say, yeah, this felt good, man. This felt good.
Yeah, good.
Go ahead.
Congratulations, you got audited. Now you're important.
Subject to roundup. So Bill is the master. I'm telling you, I've been studying this guy since, I don't know, first time I met you. I don't know, early 2000s. I got all that stuff back in the day.
Trig?
Yep, Trig.
Yeah.
Highwater Real Estate Investors Group.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I remember that was the last trip I took. I took my son with me and we went fishing.
Really?
Yeah.
It's probably like 2005 or 4, though.
It could have been. He was young, and we went on a fishing boat and got some poles and went fishing. I said, "Come with me. We'll go fishing." He loves fishing.
I'm glad I was able to meet you. That was cool. How that was one meeting, in and out.
Yeah.
So this is for basically people. I mean, if you're a newbie, Bill, I mean, should you consider subject to or what?
I think so. I mean, it's a little more high level in understanding the logistics than, say, buying a property, fixing it up, and flipping it. But it's less risk. It's certainly less risk than doing that, because you can lose your backside on a fix and flip if you don't do the numbers right. Subject to, the worst that happens, you know, my agreement says I have the right to give it back. So if you get it and realize, oh man, this isn't such a good deal after all, you have the right to give it back, and they can't stop you.
Deed it back. Roundup. So listen, if you're starting out, yes, this is, Bill says, a little high level, but for me, I struggled coming up. I didn't want to learn subject to. I'm like, I'm not going to
do it. Hey, I want to tell you a quick story. One of our colleagues, I won't mention his name because he's a client, big player, called me up today and said, I took subject to a property like 8 years ago. And I gave him an option to buy it back and live in there, which is a mistake. But
what?
He didn't know any better back then.
Never.
So he said the guy died, and the family said, we don't want anything to do with this. It's all yours. So good. It worked out fine. So now he's going to resell it. And a broker came along and said, you know, that's like a 3% loan. I'll give you $120,000 for the equity and just take over the payment subject to. So he asked me, can I do that? Can I sell the property subject to the way I bought it? And I said, of course you can. You know, you have to put a disclosure that, you know, there's an underlying loan. It may get called and, you know, probably not. It's been already about 12, 13 years. I mean, I doubt at this point they really care. But he's going to cash out about $120,000 on it.
Holy cow. So he's passing on the financing and he's passing on the ownership. once you get it here, understand it here, whole thing. I think a lot of us get stuck. Well, for me, I got stuck this wholesaling. Contract, assignment, check. Contract, selling it, check.
It's the same thing, except the contract you're signing up is a little more involved than just cash.
That's true. Well, you can still buy it. You can own it. You can lease it. I mean, you can do so much more.
I bought my first house to live in that way. I bought a subject to. I gave the seller $3,500 and moved in the property.
Sweet.
And then I moved out and rented it for years.
So, Bill, you were talking about the market earlier today. You've been around. You've been through how many cycles? 2?
3.
3 cycles up and down.
Yeah.
Tell me about your insight and your perspective on this thing.
Well, we still have low inventory everywhere. So 2021 is still going to be a banner year for prices and rents. But next year, I think we're going to start to see some foreclosures, a pretty sizable amount of them. We've got more defaults now than any time since 2008. So is the government going to keep bailing people out and keep, telling, the Fannie and Freddie and FHA, you can't foreclose? Eventually, the day of reckoning is going to come. And what we're going to have is just lots and lots of people who have had a deferment for a year. And then they say, okay, deferment's over. Now you owe 12 payments times 2,000, which is $24,000. Now, some lenders will allow them to put it on the back of the loan, do a forbearance, but many won't. And those people need our help.
Gotcha.
People need our help because in the last year or two, maybe they haven't made payments, but their property value has gone up and they've gained equity. So, maybe they had no equity 2 years ago, but now they have equity. So it's worth making up, 24,000 in back payments to get maybe 40, 50,000 in equity.
Making the back payments. Wow. So you think we got another year on this thing, Bill?
I think we got another year before this foreclosure thing is going to start cycling through.
Gotcha. I'm nervous. Are you concerned about this?
Nah.
Printing money?
Nah. Things are at the bottom, I'll buy. Things are at the top, they go up. Either way, I win. I mean, This market, the biggest complaint that people have is, I can't find deals. And that's just a natural, especially if they're looking on the MLS with brokers. Of course, they're not going to find any deals. Yeah. They're going to be outbid six different times. But if you're looking at for sale by owners or people who are in tough situations like divorce, foreclosure, behind in payments, house needs work, job loss, drug problems, alcohol problems, job transfer. I mean, there are people like that in every market.
Yeah, we don't buy based on market. We buy based on social conditions.
Right.
Social conditions.
Right. Individuals with individual problems.
I like the way you put that. So, Bill, okay, we got subject 2. We got your opinion on the market. So let's talk about this workshop that's coming up and Roundup. We got a code for you that Bill is gracious enough to give my real estate Roundup homies. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, so I'm doing an all-day Zoom workshop this Saturday.
Sweet.
The 1st of May. And it's going to be really meat and potatoes. I'm going to go really dive in hard on everything from finding deals, analyzing them, what to say to the seller, how to put it under contract. You're going to get my contract, my sub-2 contract, and we're going to go over how to fill it out live online. And we're going to talk about back-end strategies, logistics, tax and legal issues, practical issues, just the whole gamut of subject 2 from A to Z. It starts at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, translate to your time. It goes, it's 7 hours with an hour for lunch, 3 sessions in the morning, 3 sessions in the afternoon. It is being recorded, so if you can't make the whole thing or your kids are getting married, I'll give you an excuse for that to not come. Otherwise, you don't get an excuse. And so with your admission price, which is only $197, it's a joke. It's so cheap. You're going to get so much information, and you get the recording of the event to watch the replay.
Sweet. So you're going to give me your contract. What about some of the disclosures, Bill? You're going to throw some of that stuff in?
For an additional fee.
Okay, so that's going to be good. All right.
Hey, it's $197.
That's cool, bro. All right. I'm thankful.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
Well, then my thing is we get to talk to an attorney live. And how about question, Bill?
I'll do Q&A sessions. So especially I'll have one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and the one in the afternoon I'll stay as long as they want to answer the questions.
Wow, I know I keep getting so many emails. People are concerned about their seller dying, which I've had sellers die. I don't think about it.
No problem. I've had sellers die on me. No problem. Just keep making the payments.
Yeah, I mean, why are they so concerned about that, Bill? I mean, then it's very rare.
When they die, the loan will all of a sudden magically become due. It doesn't.
Okay.
You just keep making payments. And what if the seller files bankruptcy? No problem. You just keep making the payments. You see, the bank can't take the payments from the borrower because they're stayed by the filing of the bankruptcy petition. But they'll keep taking them from a third party. They don't care.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've done that. I've had several file bankruptcy on me. I've had people die on me. I've had all kinds of things happen like that.
You ever had somebody say that? Bill took my house. I want my house back.
No, but I've seen it happen to other people, and the reason is they didn't explain it very well.
Disclose.
It's not just disclose. That's important, but explain it to them in English. Tell the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. One of the things I don't like, and I'll be talking about this at the workshop, taking title in a trust. Okay? But what they're doing is they're calling the seller, his name is Bob Smith, and they're calling it the Bob Smith Trust.
Yeah.
And now Bob Smith is confused.
Yeah. You told me about that before.
That's not a good idea. That confuses people. Make it clear. I'm buying your property. You don't own it anymore. You can't deduct the interest. It's no longer yours. You lose your equity. You don't get it back.
Man, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah. It's the truth, though.
It's the truth. So as long as we're honest, I'm not, what about people that are around the country like, Bill, I can't find someone to do this, an attorney to do this for me.
Keep asking. Of course you can. You'll find one. There's one in every market. You just got to ask around because, frankly, 9 out of 10 title companies, 9 out of 10 brokers, 9 out of 10 attorneys, they don't know anything. They know nothing. So you're just going to have to, the best thing, ask your local real estate investor association, go to the meetings and ask around, hey, who's an attorney? Who's a title company? Who's an escrow company? Who knows how to do this game?
Who knows how to do lease options? Roundup.
I'll give you an example. I have neck problems because I have bulging discs.
Yeah, you got that shot.
Yeah. So I get this shot. It's a special shot. And the way they do it is they put me out and they drill right into the facets, while I'm out and inject cortisone. Now, I went to my regular provider and said, I had an old insurance company that covered. The new one said, we never heard of such a thing.
Oh, wow.
And they said, we don't recommend it. It sounds very risky. They wanted to cut my neck open and then stick a bunch of tools through and fuse my joints.
Wow.
But they thought sticking a needle in there maybe to get rid of the pain was too risky. Unbelievable. So I went back to the old doctor and I said, if I pay out of pocket, can you do this thing? And it was about $2,000 for the procedure. And I said, why did they say I never heard of this? He says, I am only one of 2 doctors in the state who knows this.
Wow.
So, it's a valid procedure. He'd been doing it for 30 years. It's just that, not everybody knows about it.
Gotcha. Not everybody knows. Here's the thing, y'all. If you think every attorney is wealthy, or even I'll let the attorney say it. Walking in the path of the wealthy, only few people know how to do this stuff, dude. Just get over it. Right. Are all attorneys rich and wealthy, Bill?
No. Not all attorneys are rich and wealthy. Just the ones that are chasing ambulances.
All right. So May 1st, this weekend roundup. So Bill is letting you, there's a link in the video description. Bill, I think we give him a code, but I don't know if it's working. You want to cut that code on for me? I'm asking you to give my roundup homies a discount.
SUB, the number 2.
Sub 2. Oh, let me do it here. I got to put it up. Roundup. Listen. This code is going to be good for 2 days. 2 days to Wednesday night. Wednesday night. Okay, so sub 2, round up 30% off. It's gonna cost you $100.
Yeah, that's. Come on, that's not even the cost of dinner.
Yeah, this drink I had here is $25. So
did you order it room service?
no, I went to the bar.
Hey, well, if you order room service, there'd be a 25% surcharge on that.
I'm like, I went.
Is that a Russian
Moscow Mule.
Moscow Mule?
I'm like, good Lord. So round up, listen, hang out with an attorney that does subjects to. Get your questions answered. And matter of fact, we'll do free Q&A tonight. Use coupon code sub2. Right. Or I think we got another one on there. Kris might work too with sub2. Make sure I got a text bill that somebody says sub2 is not working.
Sub2. Let me look.
They said Kris was working though.
SUB, the number 2.
Sub 2.
Maybe they're putting TO.
Sub 2. Let's see. Kris sub 2 did not see a discount.
I see the problem.
Well, he said.
I see it. I fixed it. It was sub -2.
Sub. Oh, okay. So we're good.
Sub 2. I fixed it.
All right, sub 2. So round up is 50% off. Is $100, and that coupon, the code will be good to Wednesday night at midnight. Wednesday night, okay. Yeah. And even if you can't get it now, it's an early bird discount. Round up. It's an honor to bring this. It's an honor to bring this to you. Let's do some Q&A. Bill, you got time?
Sure, absolutely.
Valdemitra, I love that name and that smile. Question: if a VA loan interest rate is higher than the current rate, can you take a subject to refinance, or should we ask the seller to before we close? That's a good question.
Either one. What a lot of people don't realize is if you take subject to and you own it and you pay on someone else's loan for a year, you can refinance that property. You can do it just like it's your own, even though someone else's loan is still on the property. Or you can ask the seller to do a VA streamline refinance. Maybe even take a little cash out for themselves and then take subject to.
Do all lenders do that, Bill?
VA does that.
Gotcha.
And FHA. VA and FHA do a streamline. The VA one is really easy. They don't even do an appraisal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That streamline stuff. I didn't learn that till I was in the game for 10 years. Valdemitra, once again, one of our members, do you work in all 50 states, Bill?
As an attorney, I don't, but what I'm teaching does.
How many times do you get people ask me this every day? The subject to work in my state. The subject to. How did you answer that, Bill?
It works in every state, even Puerto Rico.
Ryan, thank you so much for supporting our channel. Round up all fellow entrepreneurs and busy professionals. There's a button right there that says join. If you'd like to continue to support the Roundup channel, it's going to just something a little extra, gets our members' questions answered first. Marlon, what's up, my friend? Good to see you too. Good to see you. One of my members. Hey, 13 million views. Thank you so much for your love offering, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have here one of my new members here. Bishop Bill, I got Bill's course. I'm trying to form my LLC. And one of the questions is this: describe the service. How should I describe the service if I want to do a subject to? Bill?
When you file with some states, they ask the code, the NAICS code. And the IRS, when you get your EIN, they ask you, what line of business you're in. There is no such thing. I'll just put real estate residential rentals. That's the closest thing.
Landlord. At the end of the day, landlord is safe.
Landlord's safe, exactly.
I promise you, my account's
that's the NAIC code I put in. Real estate residential rentals.
Rentals. Is that AKA landlord, Bill?
I don't think landlord is what they call it. They call it residential rental services.
Residential rental services. Okay. Well, you got that one. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Is that everybody, or that's just some states, Bill? Because the EIN is with the Fed.
The EIN they ask you, but some states ask you to put that NAIC code. You could Google it and then search through the database and find the one that matches. But that's the closest one I could find.
Gotcha. Terrence, one of my members. Hey, my friend Bill, been watching you the thrift. Good. That's cool.
Minister of real estate. You're like the Howard Stern of real estate YouTube.
Howard Stern,
right?
How you figure that mess?
You're like the king of all real estate.
Is that good? Okay, so you say Howard Stern's in a good way.
Yeah, Howard Stern. He calls himself the king of all media. You're the king of all real estate.
I'll take that, my friend. Roundup, get signed up. The link is in the video description for Bill's one-day workshop. Use that code SUB2 and they will give you 50% off. That link is in the video description. Get registered. The discount will end Wednesday night. Look at this. This is so cool. Paris, one of our members, the minister. I would take that, the minister of real estate. At Ventura, should I hire an attorney? We'll do members' questions first, and then we'll get everybody else. To do the land trust before taking it to the title company, or can the title company do the whole thing?
Title company will not do a land trust.
Heck no.
No. You do it yourself, or you do have an attorney do it.
But she can bring it in, though, Bill, right? She can do that at home.
Yeah, you can do it yourself and then bring it in all executed and done. But the title company's not going to prepare a land trust agreement. They're
going to say, where's your trust?
Yes, exactly. That's the practice of law, which only an attorney can do, or you can do it yourself.
Or the owner, yeah. Paris, thank you so much, my friend. One of our members, thank you for your love offering. I was successful wholesaling 3 subject to deals last year. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations.
Nice job.
Purchase. Yep, he's one of my, man, this dude is a monster up in Maryland. Cheryl White, thank you. Hey, Cheryl. I love taking down sub-twos, turning in lease option. Yep, tax benefits, best strategy. He's right. He's right. Evan Turris, what title should I use to earn people's trust if I'm saying I'm I guess what title, Bill?
Right. Minister of Real Estate. That's already taken. When people ask me, are you an investor? Like a negative thing, I just say, well, I buy and sell and rent properties to put food on my family's table.
They just shut up.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. How can they fault you for that?
Evan Torres, I'm gonna tell you what I've learned. If you tell people you're a landlord, from my experience, they just look at you differently. Like investor, greedy.
Right. Greedy. Right.
Little landlord, man.
Right.
Like a few houses. One of our members here, please make sure you put the properties in a trust. That's right. That's right. Or mine or Bill's is fine. Got members here, members questions. What's the difference, Evan told us, what's the difference between putting a property in a trust versus an LLC, Bill? Good question here.
That's like asking the difference between a duck. Do you walk to school or do you carry your lunch? Does a bird fly higher in the winter or in the mountains?
What do you mean?
It's a joke. No, seriously. The answer to the question is it's not one or the other. It's both.
Both.
It's a land trust with the beneficiary being an LLC. So it's not which is better. They're together. Two layers.
Bill, tell Evan told us it took me 3 years to learn trust and then implement them. Tell Evan Turris that it may not be something that they get. Well, I would ask you, Bill, do people get this overnight and implement it?
Easy to get. It took me years and years to really understand, trusts and LLCs. And I'm always learning and I'm always tweaking and I'm always, finding new court cases and rulings and laws and tweaking what I'm doing and adjusting. So you got to keep on top of it.
Yep. Changes.
The more you learn, the more you earn.
That is true, Bill. I found that to be true. That's why I'm here in Florida trying to learn. Who is this? Man, golly, we got a ton. Michelle, hey, smile. I'm a member. No. Thank you so much for your love offering. Thank you for supporting the channel. There's a button right there that says join right next to share. Hold up. Let me make sure I got the thing. Make sure I got this, Bill. 1 second, brother. Let's say join right next to subscribe. Michelle, there's a subscribe button right there below. And if you look right next to the subscribe button, it'll be a join button. And that will allow you to help support the Roundup homies and help me to keep making this content because it ain't easy. Thank you so much for your love offering. I'm honored. Thank you. Roundup, we're going to come back to non-members in a minute. Aventuras, Michelle. Well, she told me how to get there. Gene, what up, homie? My friend had the same situation. He did the cut through the neck. Oh, we're talking about that joint. Through the neck joint. That sounds painful.
It's not. They put you out.
Ryan signed up for the course, the workshop a few weeks ago. Good. Gene, one of our members, Streamline Refinance. Thanks for the gems, Kris. Y'all a gift to the people. Thank you.
Welcome.
Try to be. Michelle, thank you so much. Thank you for your love offering. Den G, what up, homie? What up? Thank you. Ed just closed his subject too. Edward, we got to bring you back on, bro. He just closed his first one.
All right.
Near Co. TKU Gens. Jen Bill's course. Yep, thank you. Nerico wants to know, please make a video about insurance. How to approach the bank for the mortgage statement, Bill.
That will be in the workshop. I will talk about that.
Good. Man, this is crazy. Members first. Dad buys house as one of our members. What language do we use when contacting the lender with an authorization to release? Do I say my name or what?
You have to say your name. It's on the authorization.
Do you put your name, Bill, or your company name?
My name.
So everybody's different. Does it matter? Why put my company name, Bill? Because I might have somebody else sign it. Somebody else.
Well, yeah, if I had someone else in my office do it, then I would do that. But I'm usually the one who does it.
Gotcha. Knock on door letter. Okay. All right. Members are in Roundup. If you want to join us, if you want your questions answered first, there's a join button right there. And make sure you get signed up. Use the coupon code below for 50% off. It will disappear on Wednesday.
What are you doing in Florida, by the way? Vacation?
No. I got 3 kids, Bill. I'm down here. I'm with Patrick Bet David, man, the Valuetainment crew.
All right.
He's doing a seminar.
Your daddy vacation, right?
Don't tell my wife that. No, I'm here working. You know I can't.
When I would go with my kids, they call me vacation daddy because at home I didn't do anything. Wife did everything, planned everything. When I get on vacation, I'm in charge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying get up 8 o'clock this, 10 o'clock that, and then we're going here and we're doing that.
That's cool.
Not the rest of the year, I didn't take charge.
What up? Leslie. Are you in Denver? I live in Lone Tree.
Yes.
Sam, out in Houston. I just 13 million views. I just spoke with Broken today in Montgomery, Alabama. This guy hates people that wholesale. He actually hung up on me, even when I talked to him about double dipping.
Oh well,
that's terrible. On to the next. Bobby got your creative finances course. Great course, Bill.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we do here. Eleanor, what up? Sammy Prieto, what if rates go up, Bill? Do you think they may call the loan due if they feel they can capture that new interest rate?
Good question. It'd have to be a substantial rise, and I'm talking like 9, 10. That's not going to happen overnight.
That's going
and if let's say 10 years from now it went up to 9%, and then they said we're calling the loan due, you'd have a pretty darn good defense in court to say you waived it. You waived your right to do that. There's an argument in law called laches, LACHES. It basically means use it or lose it. It's like you have a tenant, pays late, you don't enforce the late fee. He pays late again, 9 months in a row. And then the 10th month, you go into court and you want all the 9 months late fees. The judge is going to say you waived your right to them by not enforcing it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. We hired an attorney.
Yeah. But then you'd have so much equity that it wouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
Denise, when performing a sub-2 with equity, can we negotiate paying some of the equity as opposed to paying all the equity? Or is there laws against that equity stuff?
No laws against. So let's say it's worth $300, they owe $1, right? So they have $200,000 in equity. You could say, I'll give you, $60,000 for your $200 in equity, or if you don't have $60,000, then say, I'll give you 10 down, and then you'll take a second. I'll take subject to the first and give you a second for $190,000 with payments on that.
So the sky is the limit. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Denise? You can give them 10,000 now, 10,000 next year, whatever the hell you negotiate. It really comes up to your negotiating
Whatever you
skills.
negotiate, yeah.
You can get real fancy with this thing, man. And sometimes I've done a substitution of collateral where I get paid when I sell it and keep the daggone money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, tight workshop. Okay, let's do this. Boom, boom. Next question, y'all. Got a million questions. This is good stuff here. Le marketing should have been using international trust due to a banker acceptance for whatever the allegations. I don't know what that is. What's that, Bill?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Mustache Mike. Any referrals on title agencies that do subject to creative financing near Green Bay, Wisconsin, or Wisconsin, depends on who you are.
In Green Bay, Wisconsin, I have 11 recommendations. Do you want one on the north side, the west side, the east side, or the south side?
That's cool, Bill.
I'm joking.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just pulling his chain. You're just going to have to ask around, Mike. Find your Google REIA Green Bay. That's a real estate investor association. Find the local real estate investor association and go to their meeting and ask around.
And don't get depressed or discouraged, Mustache Mike, when the first 10 you talk to. It took me 3 years to find my people.
Yep.
Because they're going to be like, sub what? That's illegal. Cheryl, hey, Cheryl, does sub 2 need to be done with a closing attorney or can it be done with an escrow officer in Cali?
Escrow in Cali.
All I need is an attorney and Bill Bronchick. That is true. Apostle Lashonda, look at that hat. What is the quickest way to get the property out of the seller's name?
Have them sign a deed.
Boom. Over. The deed,
Prepare a deed to you and then have them sign it.
Yeah, that's it. Wow, that's crazy. Round up, register for bills subject to workshop. It's in the video description. Use coupon code SUB2. The discount is good until Wednesday, y'all. Mm-hmm. The marketing, the foreclosures are already here. They're on the way. Night Ray King, how do we find these people to do subject to? Everywhere.
That's a long discussion. I'll give you one. Buy a list of people who have VA loans. Why? Because they didn't put any money down. So they have no emotional attachment to the house. Yeah. They have really good interest rates, really low interest rates. They move a lot. They get deployed or they get divorced. They move a lot. So buy a list of people who have VA loans. Probably a lot in your area, right, Kris?
Oh, my Lord.
Yep.
VA loans used to be the only people in my area in 2009, 10, 11. That's all that was buying.
Yeah, a lot in there. I did it in Colorado Springs, which has a military base. I got a ton from that, a ton. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I didn't close any of them. I wholesaled every one of them because it's out of my area.
Robert Heflin. Bill, are there any cons to doing the subject to for loan and forbearance?
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means you don't have to make up all the back payments.
Sweet. Come to Atlanta. Get plus sub. Michelle says coupon code sub 2 is not working. You got that fixed, Bill?
I got it fixed.
If you don't see the link in the video description, just refresh your page. We had to add it in later.
Well, it's working. I'm looking at my email. I see a bunch of people using it.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. 1 second here, Eleanor.
Make sure you're using sub 2, SUB, the number 2, not TO.
There you go. Right there, sub 2. What I'm hearing is all the arrear payments due forbearance moratorium is going on as a second lien at 4% rate. You heard that too, Bill?
I have not heard that.
That's interesting.
I have not heard that. It could be something that they're working on. I don't know.
Code not working. What time does that come in? So Bill, you got that. Bill said he's got that fixed.
It works. I got a bunch of people in my inbox using it.
All right, cool. See you Saturday. Somebody's in Palm Beach. Hit me up. Send me a private message if you're in Palm Beach. I'll be here for another day. Terrence, can you buy the house subject to if the bank owns the house?
No, because there's no loan if the bank owns the house.
Mm-hmm. Bill, do you do work in California?
I am not licensed to practice in California, but like I said, everything I do is applicable in all 50 states. I know California very well because my mom lived there for 20-something years before she passed, and she bugged me every day about subject to deals.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I know the game in California.
Gotcha. Roundup, use that link in the video description to get signed up. Ed says, thank you, Bill. Working on the second subject too. Sub 2 work for me. Good. Sun State work for this. Den, salute to you. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. I got Bill's creative stuff. Good. Cool. Minister Real Estate. Thank you. Are you enjoying that weather down here? Yes. What if the seller, Sun State house buyers, what if the seller wants his equity out or any kind of money?
Option A, 30 cents on the dollar. Option B, small down, take a note.
Yeah, you can do so many things. Groove Theory, thank you for your stuff, Bill. Thank you for your stuff.
Thank you.
Andrew had a hard time finding deals. He's going to cover that on Saturday. He went over one a minute ago.
Right. By the way, Andrew, what are you looking for? An ad on Craigslist that says, subject to, take over my payments?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being a little facetious. I'm just kidding around with you a little bit. But, you got to be able to kind of read between the lines what you're looking for. If you saw an ad on Craigslist that said for sale or rent, call that one.
Man, this thing is going bananas tonight. Bill, the subject to, Ryan wants to know, the subject to have to be a pre-foreclosure?
It does not. It could be current. It's more likely the seller will do it if he's behind, because he can't argue, well, what if you don't make my payments, Chris? You're not making your payments, sir.
Basically. Nearco, can I take subject to with a HELOC, home equity line of credit?
Yes, you can. But make sure you lock it down.
What do you mean, Bill?
Meaning the seller still has the checks. He can start drawing against it. The bank won't know that you own it and he doesn't. So you need to have him sign a letter that says, please close out this line of credit, for further, advancements or whatever. And then you send that to the bank, because that did happen to me.
What happened?
I took subject to on a HELOC that had some credit line left on it, and the seller 6 months later wrote a check against it.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but I called him up and went like, you don't ever do that again.
So you were paying the daggone loan bill, and he gonna go borrow money. Wow.
Yeah.
That's real grimy, dog.
I learned the lesson the hard way. That was really sleazy.
How do you prevent that?
Well, you do is you have them write a letter saying, dear lender, shut this down.
Oh, that's so grimy, dog.
Yeah, that was, it wasn't a lot. It was like $2,000. I mean, but.
Yeah, you can pay that back.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Donald Brooks, is it possible to do a sub to on a property where the value is in the land for a tear down in hopes of putting new construction homes on it?
Sure, why not?
Yep. Better know what you're doing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Helping Hands, thank you for your time. Thank you. All right, I'm going to wrap my van and leave it at the Chick-fil-A and say, help people in pre-foreclosure. Good for you.
Right, and you get paid in chicken sandwiches.
Your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. People are going to want to keep the house. Thank you for your new members, LaShawn. Welcome to the Roundup, homie. Your questions will be answered first. Thank you for supporting. That is so good. Thank you. Oh, Healing, what's up? Valdemitra, thank you so much for your love offering. I appreciate that. It's an honor to work with you. Thank you. Bill, I think we got them all.
All right, great. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Kris, for putting this on. And stop working. Go spend time with your family. Go for a walk on the beach and hold hands with your wife. It's a nice night, I'm sure.
That's just me. Everybody at home, Bill. They didn't come.
Oh, it's just you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you brought the family. You said I had 3 kids.
That's why they couldn't come. I got
Oh,
a 1-year-old, man. My wife, I wanted them to come, but I'm in class all day, and we tried.
This is your man cave for the week, right?
Man, one more. I got some members' questions, Bill. Can you give us your take on the cost of building materials? Building materials are going through the roof, Bill.
Roof, it's going crazy.
What's the deal?
I saw at the corner a guy selling a little dime bag of wood shavings. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the same for a while. It's going to be, the cost of building and the cost of rehab has gone through the roof. It's tough.
What's up with that?
It's a combination of things. It's inflation. It's it's the import taxes from China. It's the cost of materials. It's the cost of labor. Everything has gone crazy
because of low interest rates.
Well, because all the a lot of things we import from China, we have all these tariffs on that. So that's causing the cost of all that to go up, and then we've got the cost, the labor costs of taking down trees and making wood is gone up because of no one wants to work because everybody's on unemployment forever, and getting paid for not working. So employers are like, we got to offer $25 an hour just to get a starting wage to get someone to work.
At that stimmy.
Yeah.
Let me look at this thing. Get reviewed, recorded video. This is so crazy. I saw one here, Bill, I had to get to. Round up. The link is in the video description. Get signed up. Oh, Philip, you call Salute about to use land trust plus emailed you about the trustee. Okay, yep, we do offer trustee services. Bill, I started just doing trustee services for people, man. What do you think about that?
I do it on occasion if someone I know, because I've gotten letters and subpoenas from
I've got subpoenas.
IRS investigators, criminal investigators.
I haven't got that.
Generals.
What?
Yeah. And, it's not me, but it's like, do I need this aggravation as the trustee,
But they can't do anything to you. You just got to show up.
No, just me. They're just saying, provide a copy of the trust agreement. We want to see who's behind this. And I have to comply with that. But for the most part, it's just mail. I get mail and I don't want to deal with it.
I got you, brother.
Yeah. If they put me in a virtual PO box and they get the mail, maybe.
Apostle says she wants her husband to get out of the rehab business.
Right, because of the cost of materials. Do the subject twos. They're very little work.
Valdemitra said, where can she get that VA list at, Bill?
There's a list of everything that's public record. So just Google VA loans house list or VA loans homeowners list. You'll find 100 providers.
LaShawn, one of our new members, what are all the documents we need to begin? Wow, that's a lot. And if you have a revocable trust, do you need a brokerage account to put your newly acquired home?
A brokerage account?
No, the trustee. Tell my rounduppers they don't need to get any type of tax ID for this land trust.
No, you don't need a tax ID or a brokerage account or a bank account for
that mess.
No.
Nope. All the documents are at the website, LaShawn. All that stuff there. Dime bag. Oh, I don't think that list, the VA list on PropStream, Michelle wants to know, Bill.
That's a good question. I don't know. Ask them.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Groove Theory 62. Do you have on your limited power of attorney, does it have to be notarized?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Got to be notarized. Somebody, this is serious here, Bill. You got to take your time to get on the road. Roundup, get registered up for Bill's Trading. It's in the video description. I'm here in Florida, West Palm Beach.
No respect.
You know what? Yeah, I'm like the black. I'm like that in my house. I'm the black Rodney Dangerfield. No one respects me in my house. That's dad. He ain't gonna do nothing. All right, Roundup. Listen, get signed up. I'm gonna be there hanging out with Bill because I want to learn. I love Bill, what about this insurance? Should people be scared about that?
No. No. There's a couple of options to do, which I'll talk about at the workshop.
You go over that in more detail.
Yep.
People get so nervous. I'm like, half the stuff that you're talking about is not even remotely going to happen.
You know what? People are just looking for reasons not to do.
That could be true. That's true. All right, Roundup. I don't have any subscribe paraphernalia here, but subscribe to the channel, like the content, share it in there. They're investors. Get joined up only if you want to buy houses subject to over the next few months, which is my favorite way to buy. What's your favorite way to buy, Bill?
When people give me subject to and give me money.
Oh, the new gold rush.
When they give me money to buy their house, I like that.
Let me. You give me your line, and I'm gonna use my line. What is your line when you want them to contribute to the deal, Bill?
When I want them to contribute, I'll say, how much money are you going to give me to take over your house?
Okay, that's Bill's line. My line is, Miss Smith, you know, I'm bringing X amount of dollars to this thing. How much do you have to make this deal work?
That's another way to say it.
Just shut up. Well, you know, Chris, I do have that 2,000. Just shut up.
Right.
All right. Roundup. I'll see you Saturday, if not before. And you're gonna Donald wants to know, you're gonna talk about that dual on sale stuff, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay, Roundup. Subscribe, like. I'll see you soon. Matter of fact, I'll go live tomorrow and show you all this hotel. Talk to you later, Roundup. Peace.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
All right. Bye.
Pleasure.